I've made it to the end of my third month of being monetized on YouTube. So today I'm going to share my entire journey with you today. Today I'm going to set my goals for the next year, and it'll be lovely to look back in a year's time and say, well, I've smashed those goals out of the park and look where we are now. More importantly, how much I've been paid by YouTube. It's useful at this point to give you a quick bit of context, so I'm going to give you my whole backstory, as it were. Now, as you can tell, and as you may know, I'm a tailor and shirt maker and have been for the last 10 years. And I started doing social media in 2023 with a view to promoting my business. And I thought, well, if I come across all salesy and I'm trying to do a sales pitch, people are going to turn off. But if I try to do things that are going to help people, then maybe people will engage more. And fast forward to today, and we have the essential guide for the modern man. And it started off with tying ties, then folding pocket squares, then ironing shirts, polishing shoes, and it's growing and growing and growing. And it's become a thing in its own right. So we started in June 2023 on TikTok, and I started with my first tie-tying demonstration, and it went very well. And then the second one went very well. The third one got over 1 million views. Brilliant. Right, what do we do with this? Carry on going, tying ties, different knots, pocket squares, different things, trying different things. And it was all going really well. And I decided to start looking at different platforms. So I just started recycling the same content, uploading to Instagram, and that went even better. Way, way more than I would have ever expected, and without any additional effort, because I was just recycling the same videos. And videos that were getting 4 and 5 million views on TikTok were getting 20, 22 million views on Instagram. Amazing. This is just beyond my wildest dreams. So I decided to go to YouTube and see if I could recycle the same content onto YouTube. Now, this is where I made a huge mistake. I did my Windsor knot tying video. I'd done two videos that weren't even for public consumption on YouTube. So I'd done 2 videos on YouTube, and the third one was how to tie a Windsor knot. Lo and behold, it got 70,000 views. 70,000 views on YouTube for your third video. This is unheard of, completely unheard of. However, I was looking at that, 70,000 on YouTube, 4 million on TikTok, 20 million on Instagram. 70,000 views. That's terrible. That's rubbish. And I completely misjudged the whole situation. So my graph, my stats go 2 years ago, basically one video spiking up and then tailing off, and then nothing for another year and a half. And that was the mistake I made in misjudging the significance of that first video, because had I capitalized on that traction back then, I think we'll be in a very different place now. However, we are where we are. So at the start of this year, 2025, I started taking YouTube more seriously. But the reason why I took YouTube more seriously was because of a client of mine who's called Tim Burton. Now, Tim is on YouTube and has been for the last 15 years, and his username is Shmee150. And he's got a whole garage full of supercars, Ferraris, McLarens, Lamborghinis, the whole lot. They are just stunning cars. So I decided I was going to make an effort of YouTube, and not knowing anything about it, I gave Tim a call and said, I need your help. Please help me with my YouTube strategy. He said, absolutely. Come and spend a couple of hours and we'll go over what you need to do. And he was the one that told me that he'd done 1,000 videos on YouTube before he'd earned a penny in advertising revenue from YouTube. 1,000 videos. Absolutely mind-blowing. But what this tells you is that it's not the money that motivates you, or it can't be the money that motivates you when you first get started. That may be what it becomes, that may be how it turns out. You know, it becomes a big thing in a few years' time, but you can't force the money, you can't put any pressure on the money, you can't make it happen, you can't rely on the money. So it can't be about the money, it has to be for some other reason. And for me, it's about the passion of wanting to share my knowledge, wanting to share my skills, my experience, and the things that I think are missing in a young man's education these days. That's what I'm passionate about. And for me, the payment is in the engagement I get from people, the comments that say, this is so good, I showed this to my son, this is great, I wish we had this when I was growing up. I've just shown this to all my class, I've just shown this to whatever. It's the people saying, we need this. Thank you so much for sharing this information. It's better than payment because it's fulfilling, it's rewarding, it's giving you something, it's giving you that endorphin rush that you don't get elsewhere. And that's why you do it. Because you're getting fulfillment, because you're getting positive feedback, you keep doing it. And then eventually you start to make money. And you think, well, where did that come from? So in the initial stages, it has to be for a different reason than wanting to make money, even though that may be where it ends up. So what have I made out of my first 3 months being monetized on YouTube? Well, May was my first month and the 6th of May was my first day. So almost an entire month. And if we go to revenue, I made £82.48 in May. And first day was £1.77, then £2.50, £2.07, around the £2 a day mark. Then June. June was my first full month. And again, by the start, we're up to £3.50 a day, £3, £4, £5.38. And for the month was £111. Now, July, again, not quite a full month. Tomorrow will be a full month, but we're at £115 for the month. But you can see the average is creeping up all the time. And over time, you see that your worst days are not as bad as they used to be, and your best days are better than they used to be, and there's a steady incline. And every now and again, you get a video that does well, a video that gets picked up, an old video from 3-4 months ago that's for some reason is being seen. It might be picked up on Google. Your video from 3 months ago might just have been ranked in Google for that search term and is now getting more views. It might be that YouTube is now pushing it out to a different audience because it's worked out who your audience is. So even though you think a video has flopped or is doing nothing, you never want to delete an old video because you just never know when it might pop off. Anyway, so for my lifetime, as you can see very quickly, so 2025, £309 and a penny. Brilliant. Now, can I pay the bills with £309 and a penny? That doesn't even pay my rent for half the month. So no, I'm not paying many bills with £309. However, lifetime, we have a little over 500,000 views, 14,000 watched hours, and 3.8k subscribers, and £309 revenue. 3,800, roughly 3,800 subscribers. My goal, and this is where my accountability comes in, because by the 1st of August 2026, I want to have 40,000 subscribers. That's a tenfold increase on where I am today. I know that's ambitious and I know that sounds unlikely, but from other creators that I've seen that have done the same thing, a tenfold increase year on year is not unreasonable if you keep the consistency going, if you keep the evergreen content growing, and if you keep improving all the time on your technique. You make your titles better, you make your thumbnails better, you make your hook better, you make your storytelling better, your video production better sound recording, better light, higher resolution video that makes it better on bigger devices, all of this sort of thing. Your community grows, you engage more with your community. You still have to do all of these things. For me, the key takeaways are ignore the money and concentrate on the passion. Concentrate on the thing that gives you joy in what you're doing. If you have cynically found a niche that you think is going to be high performing, but you have no joy for it at all, you can't have any passion in it because that's not where it's come from. You have to be the person that has something that they want to share. And then this is just the vehicle for sharing it. If it brings you joy to share your information or to give your opinion or to show people how something is done or how you do it, you might have something new to add. You might be into cooking and have a completely different approach to things. My new thing is about being sugar-free and low carb and high protein. So if I find a channel that's cooking with low sugar, low carb, high protein, I'm going to be really interested in it. I've been interested in cooking my entire life, but it's never been low sugar, low carb, high protein. But that might be the thing that gets me my next channel. Who knows? And if it is, it'll be because there's something that I'm bursting to share with people. I never realized that low sugar, low carb, high protein food could be so tasty, and the results have been amazing. You know, you talk with passion about it because you're excited. And that excitement conveys its way onto your videos. Your natural energy draws people in, and you become a magnet for people who are into that particular niche. So start with the passion, start with the thing that gives you joy, and then build on it from there. Learn from other content creators. Don't be put off by the people that have got 1 million, 2 million, 3 million subscribers. They've got to where they are by being consistent, by showing up, and by doing what's right, and you can learn from them. What I would say is if I was doing this all over again, I would put, well, for a start, I wouldn't ignore the success of my early video. But secondly, I would concentrate more on the thumbnail, more on the title, and more on the storytelling part of the video. I think those are the three key features for YouTube. Those are the things that don't really feature on Instagram Reels and TikTok, because you're seeing it as a feed. And if you grab somebody's attention in the first few seconds, Instagram and TikTok have decided to show you that particular video. If it grabs your attention in the first few seconds, then you engage. It's as simple as that. On YouTube, it's different. On YouTube, you are having to actively find content. YouTube's going to suggest content to you based on what it knows you like. It's only going to suggest your content to people if it knows that there's a high chance that you're going to engage with it. So that's why you're looking at things like click-through rate for your thumbnails and for your title, engagement. What percentage of watch time do your videos get? This is where the storytelling comes in. And my final thought, and it's possibly the most important part of the whole process, is don't be put off by the early days when you have very few views, very few subscribers, and you feel as though you're just shouting into a void. That's the time. This comes from Graham Stephan, who's an American content creator, and I've learned a lot from him. He showed his channel's performance in the early days, and it's exactly the same as mine. $1, $2, $3 a day. Small amounts. And he's literally now earning $10,000 a day on his channel. So when he speaks, I listen because he knows what he's talking about. And I recognize that part of the journey because that's where I am. He was saying, don't let these small numbers put you off in the early stages. And this is before monetization, when you're only getting a handful of views on each video. This is where you're doing your apprenticeship. Your apprenticeship comes from those first maybe 4, 5, 6 months of making videos. You're learning. You've never been taught how to make videos for YouTube, so you have to learn. And you do your first one and nobody sees it. You do your second one and 2 people see it. And you think, why is nobody looking at my videos? So you start to do your research and you start watching people who are training content creators, and they are talking about thumbnails, they're talking about titles, they're talking about the storytelling. Then they're talking about the equipment you're using, the microphone, the lights, the editing facilities that you're using. All of these things, you think, oh yeah, okay, that's what I'm not doing. I need to start doing this. And so you refine your process, you start to watch back your own videos and see where you can improve. And for those first 4, 5, 6 months, pre-monetization, that's exactly what you're doing. And there's no pressure. The beauty of it is you've got zero pressure because you don't have advertisers and sponsors and partners to worry about. You don't yet have an audience who are expecting a certain type of content, so you can experiment. Maybe next time I'll do a high protein, low sugar, low carb cooking video for you. Why not? And you may well find that what you thought was going to give you the biggest joy actually doesn't, and it's something else. Because that might be the thing that you've got more to say about, that you're more passionate about, you get better engagement for, and the feedback that you're getting from people is the thing that's giving you the reward. Oh, I tried that recipe you did on Tuesday and it was amazing. Thank you so much. Give me more of these. I can't wait to see your next one. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I've got so many more of these things to share with you. And then it opens up a new avenue. But experiment, engage with people. You've got nothing to lose by asking people what they want to see and just saying, you're my people. You're my first 100 subscribers. What do you want to see? You're not a performing monkey. You don't have to do exactly what they say, but these are ideas that you can feed off. Anyway, I need to go back to my day job and start selling some suits and shirts because £300 is not going to keep the lights on for very long. So if you want to see more of this stuff, please subscribe to the channel, please like the video, please share. And if you have any questions, fire them into the comments and I'll do my best to answer. Till next time, take care. I'll see you very soon.